So how y'all doing? Let me check my levels here really quickly. How they doing? How they doing? They are looking pretty good. Maybe the other audio can go down a little bit. So tonight is a big night. We had a little bit of a last minute change with Dan Kaiser in the second half. He lives in a rural place and he's having some horrible weather or something, and so he's not able to do it. But our main guest tonight is Mr. Brian Power of Power Sports Picks. He's been a handicapper for almost 10 years. I believe we can get more into his story when he comes on. He doesn't have a massive social media presence, so this is kind of a, he's stepping out here to help out with the show. So we're going to pick his brain and talk to him about all of the different things about the game going on and some of the other games, NBA, NHL, and we can talk about the NFL and college football this weekend. Talk about the baseball. And then in the second half, we have Clutch Sports coming on. Clutch Sports, of course, he came on last week, and he did a really great job. He's out of Calgary. He's an interesting guy, Chad, and we can talk more to him and keep on developing the show, you guys. I didn't have a firm game plan in mind when I started. It seems a little loud, my voice. I'm going to turn that down a bit. So yeah, I'm just sort of trying to look at all platforms here and hanging out and getting ready for Mr. Brian Power. So, I do have a free pickup here. What's my bookie killer of the day is on. And so I hit the Blackhawks there on that was my my Thursday night game. So I have a play on the Suns tonight. There you go. Looking really solid across every platform. And so I believe that Brian is going to be putting a pick in our free picks section at some point, maybe before he comes on. So we've come a long way in a short time and having a lot of fun with this so far, and we'll just see where it goes. What's up, Purpose? What's up, buddy? Yeah, so on Thursday we won't be here, actually. I gotta say that. Because it's Halloween, and I have two young boys that are just, like, gonna go nuts, and I have to help out on that. So that'll be the only time this month that we're not going. But what about you, Purpose? What's up in your world? Want to check out the bookie killer here? There he is. So yeah, we're going to talk to Brian Power, and I'm really excited for that. And then in the second half, we're going to talk to Chad because he's can't come on to the second half, and we had a cancellation with second half Kai's. He was unable to come on tonight at the last moment, which is no big deal. He's been so great and really appreciate his help big time. and maybe we could still get his second half pick somehow into our Discord. That would be great. So I'm doing my best here. You're finishing up cardio and then Monday Night Football. But how about them Pats? Yeah, unbelievable. I saw an interesting take on the Pats there. Just Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he won Offensive Player of the Week for the AFC the week before he faces the Patriots. And then he got destroyed and threw 6 interceptions or something. And then the following week he had a big week too. And all these people keep saying, well, the Pats haven't faced a real offense, etc. Well, so yeah, just sort of keeping my eye on Brian here and bring him in shortly. But here he is. He's a covers expert. And he's on a bunch of really amazing runs, actually. So we can ask him about that. Of course, we have our Twitch contest going on right now, you guys. That's so we're streaming to 5 different platforms right now, and so I'm constantly having to look and check and everything. But the only place you can, so purpose, you should type in apostrophe chips just to see how many chips you have. Ravens Sunday night will be good. Just shut down run game and then easy win. I see some other people on the Ravens as well. Let me check a look at that game a little closer here. That's the Sunday nighter, right? Okay, so Mr. Brian Power is saying he'll be ready in 5 minutes. So yeah, Mr. Brian Power. What are we looking at tonight, Mr. Chronic Triggers? So I've already wagered on the Steelers. But yeah, Chronic, this nice. Oh, you got to bet 10 at least. That's right. The contest is yours to lose. There you go. He's officially entered, Chronic. And so yeah, I have to figure out how to wipe out the chips for each month and then just start over. But I'm sure that can't be too hard. Got to get the game on here. I always forget to do that. So we'll get the game on here, and I think by that time, Mr. Power will be ready to rock and roll. Well, we got 5 people watching on Twitch right now. So, what's going on in the, yeah, Pats in Baltimore. Knicks fighting back. Toronto laying a beating on Orlando. So yeah, this screen here, we're waiting for Brian to come on board, but we can take a look at his... Brian's just going to be doing a phone conversation. With no video. All right, I think he's ready. All right, well, we're going to try our best here. Here we go. Hey, Brian? Brian? Hello? Hey, Brian? Brian? Can you hear me, Brian? Hello? Brian? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there he is. Beautiful. Okay, sorry, I'm going to turn you down a little bit there. So, can you talk again, just so I can check your levels? Brian? Can you hear me, Brian? Hello? Hey, Brian? Hello? Okay, how does that sound now? Let's try again. Let's try again. Hey, Brian.
I can hear you.
You can hear me now. You're kind of cutting in and out on me, though, for some reason. You don't have your camera turned on, do you? Hello? I can hear everything but you. I think I can hear... Okay, sorry you guys. This is never easy when you have, We'll try Brian again here. This might be a solo mission in the first half. Can you hear me? Huh. That's interesting. You keep cutting in and out. Maybe you could try your phone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here, Nick.
Oh, great. How are you? How are you, Brian?
I'm doing well. Sorry about that. That was, I think, on my end.
Okay, no worries. Absolutely no worries.
Yeah,
Listen,
I think I figured out the issue there. I apologize. Was in the wrong room there.
No worries, no worries. So yeah, your levels are looking great, and yeah, thanks for doing this.
Okay.
I know that you don't have a massive social media presence, and so you're just sort of this will be sort of a dipping your toes into the water here, and so I really appreciate you coming on and doing this. And So I have open your page there, Covers Experts, and it does appear that you're on a number of awesome runs, and so you're also featured at a number of other major pick selling sites, and you've been a handicapper now, I think, for a pro handicapper for nearly a decade.
Yep.
So what do you think about this game tonight? Pretty ugly, or?
Yes. So, spoiler alert, I do like the Steelers.
Okay.
Now, if you like Miami, I understand why. They have looked better since Fitzpatrick was inserted into the quarterback. It's a move I agree with.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, one of those games, they played Washington. And then last week, the performance offensively was encouraging against Buffalo, who's a good defensive team, but they still lost by 10 points. And this is just a team that, as of 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, is this maybe the worst team ever? They had the worst scoring differential through 4 games. Pittsburgh is interesting because I think everyone basically just wrote them off once Ben Roethlisberger was announced that he was out for the year, right?
For sure.
But,
no question.
Yeah, but I, believe it or not, still, and I could sound crazy, and this could be something that I ask you to destroy in a few weeks, but
right.
I see a path to the playoffs for them in a very weak AFC, believe it or not. Baltimore's probably going to win that division, but the Browns aren't very good, and the Bengals are obviously terrible. So, honestly, the second wild card in the AFC might be an 8-win team, and I just have zero belief that Miami will win this game. Is 2 touchdowns a lot? Certainly, but, I'm willing to lay the points to Pittsburgh, who I, by the way, took in their last game on Sunday night out in L.A. when they beat the Chargers outright as a 6-point dog.
And so that was 2 weeks ago. They've had the bye week. Of course, they also have Mike Tomlin, and I think that he's an excellent coach.
Absolutely, and they did that. And remember, they won that game with Devlin Hodges. Not Mason Rudolph, who is back this week. You talk about the bye week. That's really big
for
them.
That was huge for them. It could not have come at a better time, obviously. No question. So...
Yeah, and I know, there's some stats out there that maybe everyone has seen where, a quarterback with the lack of experience like Mason Rudolph, you would have to go back almost 25 years to someone laying 2 touchdowns with 4 or less NFL starts under their belt. It was, I think, Elvis Gerbach in 1995 was the last.
The 2 touchdowns.
That's great. Yeah. Is that great? No. I come to the fact that if I have no faith in an underdog winning a game, I don't want to take them even getting this many.
Mm-hmm. I actually also like the Steelers. And what about the total? Any thoughts about the total?
Well, it's tough because obviously if you like a team to cover 2 touchdowns, generally you're going to lean towards the over, but there's probably a conceivable scenario here where Pittsburgh wins 28-10. I go back to this Miami offense. Yes, it's performed better with Fitzpatrick under center, but they've not scored more than 21 points in a single game.
Yeah.
And, that was last week against Buffalo, which admittedly was surprising, but before that, they hadn't scored more than 16 in a game. So, a 2-touchdown favorite and an under is not the prettiest of combos, but if you forced me to choose on the total, and I don't like the total, truthfully, but if you forced me to choose, I would actually lean the under, because I think if Pittsburgh does cover this number, it's actually going to be more about the defense than it will be about the offense.
Well, we're very like-minded tonight because I also like the under on that. And so you were, just before you came on, you shared a free pick in our free picks forum there for anybody there who's interested. And the under in the Jazz Suns. Okay, great. There you go. So if you guys want to join our Discord, you can do that. If you're on Twitch anyways, you can follow this link right here to our Discord there and get free picks from Brian and free picks from Kai's maybe at second half. Hopefully he could come in and still do that. Kai's is having difficulties tonight, but I have Clutch Sports coming on in the second half. So this game has just gotten underway here, and so I'm going to take a quick look over here at some of the basketball and stuff. Anything jump out at me here? Golden State with an early lead on New Orleans.
Yeah, unfortunately, one game that I'm tracking, and I have not looked at the score in the last few minutes, is the Orlando-Toronto game. I've liked Orlando quite a bit tonight.
So did I, actually.
Yeah, a team that had returned, obviously the big story is just the incredible amount of player movement that season.
Yep.
And Orlando is a team that, at least among the East, had great continuity from last year. They returned a lot of last year's minutes. I really liked the spot tonight, catching 5 against Toronto, but they were not off to a good start last I looked. So hope there's a lot of basketball to be played.
I also liked Indiana at Detroit, and I liked New York, and both of them are losing at half. But Golden State now, yeah, and I also like Cleveland. And what about Oklahoma City, and Houston? Wow.
Well, with that, that's not one that I really had much of a read on. Oklahoma City, did they not? They lost by double digits home to the Wolves the other night, which is a dreadful sign. I mean, no one expects Oklahoma City to be particularly good this year. Obviously, they lost a ton.
Yeah.
You can't be losing at home by double digits to the Wizards, who are, quite frankly, was in the same.
No.
And they're not going to win 30 games either if they even win 20.
Yeah, that was a terrible. They have a terrible lineup, no question. So perhaps we could look ahead here, and already Pittsburgh is forced a 4-and-out here. A 3-and-out.
I was like, my God, Miami. When you said that, I was like, my God, Miami.
It's 5 downs now. That's right. They're giving them 5 downs. So a look ahead, because some of our fans, and I'm not sure if they're in here yet, but they always want a blowout play in one in college and one in the NFL, like a big blowout. And so what's our biggest blowouts in college football first for Saturday? If you had a chance to look at the board yet or anything?
Oh, for next week in the NFL?
Yeah, and in college, and also in college.
Okay. I spent a good deal this afternoon breaking both cards down for the upcoming week. That's usually what I like to do. While the games are still fresh in my mind. Typically, I'm an underdog guy, so I know I just kind of went through a big soliloquy talking about how you should play 14 points in a game tonight. That's pretty rare. I do not, for the record, lay 2 touchdowns in the NFL very often. If you're looking for a game that could get ugly this week, you may just want to look at the very first one that's going to take place Thursday night when the Niners are playing the Cardinals. In week 2, people can go and look at my analysis. It was the week 2 analysis when they played the Bengals.
Yeah.
I reiterated something that I had felt in the preseason that I had written there too, that the San Francisco 49ers are going to be the most improved team in the league this year. All of the metrics suggested massive improvement, even if they just, didn't. If they basically trotted out the same lineup, luck was due to go their way compared to last year when they had no good luck whatsoever. They started 3 different quarterbacks. They had a horrible turnover margin. I believe it was the worst in the league, something like -25. So you had a lot, and they lost a lot of close games too. So the ball was kind of due to bounce their way. Now it's more than just luck. This is a very talented team, and I was looking at the head-to-head history with Arizona. They haven't beaten Arizona in years.
Really?
I was stunned.
So they're not going to take it for granted, obviously.
Yeah, and Arizona, I don't think has anything resembling an NFL caliber running back ready to start this game. Yeah, I think they're down to like their third or fourth string. They're signing guys off the street, and they're going to put them in the starting lineup. Again, it's kind of like Miami tonight. I just see zero chance Arizona wins that game. Now, if you do like it,
Although, if you did you just see what happened here?
No, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
Rudolph just threw a duck, and now Miami has it on the 15-yard line.
Oh my. Okay, you must be a play ahead. You must be about 5 seconds ahead of me. So I'm going to look apparently at an interception. Yes, I saw it right there. Okay, so you're apparently a few seconds ahead of me. Yeah, I saw it right there.
Right.
So an auspicious start for the Steelers certainly as we get the, trademark camera. We get the trademark camera of the starting quarterback who was injured, looking on disgustedly, saying I could have done better than that. But
Okay, well now it's time for the defense to step up here.
yes, you would hope. Got to hold them to a field goal.
Yeah.
Obviously after that, and then that's kind of the way because and certainly Miami's offense is inept enough that you can hope to do that. But but just to put a bow on the 49ers.
Yeah.
The bad news is after everything I just said, if you do like them, you may have missed your shot already to bet them. This line has moved up a lot today.
It started at 8,
like,
and now it's at. I see some
Yeah.
10s and stuff. Right.
Yeah, 9.5. Pinnacle's got it at 10 already, and that's the sign of Pinnacle's. I consider that to be a sharper book.
Right.
I typically value its line moves a little bit more than some of the other books. No disrespect to anyone else who could be listing out there, and it looks like everybody who's already gotten down in this game is pretty much on the Niners. I mean, you're looking at, this one could be an 80-20 situation, which would give me some pause about laying the points.
Yeah.
That was another thing about tonight too. The majority of the bets, in terms of the tickets written, I believe, which you would not expect for a winless team playing prime. So that's kind of another thing to consider. I don't know if that was a complete pass or not. Apparently it was. So Pittsburgh's going to have to really bear down here. So that's just something to consider. That was one where I don't think the favorite has much of a chance. As far as college goes, a game, I kind of like to use the previous week's results to my advantage.
I was going to ask you specifically, do you classify yourself as a certain type of handicapper? Like, some people would classify themselves as like a situational handicapper. Others are numbers guys. Others guys take into account the players, or are you just a bit of everything?
Yeah, I'm a bit of everything in this. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. I mean, I do use my own power ratings, which kind of formulate the basis for all the plays. It's kind of like, all right, this is what I think the line should be. I compare it to what it actually is. If it's way off, obviously that's something that I'm going to circle and probably consider playing immediately. But I also do take into consideration the situation. And a game that I saw in college that was kind of interesting was the Vanderbilt South Carolina game. A couple weeks ago, I had South Carolina when they upset Georgia, which at the time was the upset of the year. They have not won since. They have lost 2 in a row. They lost to Florida. No shame there, but they just lost outright on Saturday to a pretty subpar Tennessee outfit. At the same time, speaking of Tennessee teams, Vanderbilt pulled a real shocker against Missouri. I'm not sure what has happened to Missouri the last couple weeks. But Vanderbilt won that game outright. But that still should not mask the fact they're a bad team. Now, I think South Carolina, last I looked, was laying around 2 touchdowns in that spread, continuing the theme from tonight. I think that spread should be closer to 3. So that's a game, if you're looking at college this weekend, you want to blow out. You may want to gravitate towards South Carolina, who is at home against Vandy, a team that I think has only covered one of its last 6 games and lost outright at home to UNLV, who is atrocious.
Well, Miami up 7-0.
Well, we're behind the 8 ball now.
The under and the you can't have both almost at this point. You know what I mean? They definitely can't.
Yes. Yeah. Whoops. Well, somebody erased the tape on that one, but I mean, the last thing you want in this situation is to turn the ball over, giving Miami an easy score. So.
Well, I guess for my NFL blowout play, as you've already covered the Thursday night game there so well. there are some interesting matchups, like Cleveland and Denver. Have you looked at that one a little more closely, or have any
So
thoughts
I
about
live
that?
in the I live in the Cleveland area.
Okay.
Just, little personal area. And the sky is falling
No
with this
doubt.
team. I just right before we came on, it's 8:25 local time here. I just watched the news before we went on, and I mean, it was pretty ugly. I mean, they still had the one person who was like, claim the fact, the schedule is easy in the second half, which it is. I had tried to warn all my friends that if you shouldn't expect better than 3-4 in these first 7 games for the Browns.
Right.
And no one wanted to hear that at the time. But that said, despite the fact that they're 2-5, which doesn't sound a whole heck of a lot different than 3-4, it kind of is. And it's not like this is an unlucky 2-5 team, where sometimes it's a team's 2-5 and it's like they've got a bunch of close losses, and you're like, oh my god.
No, I would agree.
This team could easily have a better record. As a matter of fact, look at their opponent in this game, Denver, who I know they've only won twice. I don't know. I can't remember if they're 2-5 or 2-6 offhand. But Denver's lost 3 games in the final 30 seconds. They easily could have a better record. And I believe something interesting here that has just come across my wires. They are going to be making a quarterback change this week.
They are, and so because they have said Flacco has a neck injury or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying Baltimore, or sorry, that Denver's making a quarterback change?
Yes, Denver. Yeah, okay. Denver is. Yeah. Flacco is out and Allen is in.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, then I would tend to definitely lean towards the Browns. I have personally a lot, and they've failed me. But so in one of our chatters here on Twitch, Neil the Legend, how's it going, Neil? He's just in shock too, or maybe he has the Dolphins, but just saying that the Dolphins struck really fast there, and so that was a big interception that happened, and so that was the reason behind that. So you know what, Brian? I saw a guy here on Twitter, Jimmy Vacano or something, and he put $100,000 on the Steelers straight up to win $11,000 tonight. That's
not something I would ever recommend doing. No matter how much you like a favorite.
No matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter. Yes. I mean, that's just ridiculous, but he did it. And I think it's a publicity thing more than anything. I think he must work with the book in some fashion, and whether he wins or loses, it's just good for the book or whatever, or something.
They do love reporting those kind of wagers, don't you? They almost as much as they like reporting parlay. So
exactly, yeah.
When it comes out, guys needs one more leg, they love to report that stuff. They love parlay lose a lot more than they win, folks. So just a quick note, pivoting back to that Denver game. It's Brandon Allen who's going to be starting now in favor of Joe Flacco. You were right, Nick. He's got the herniated disc in his neck.
Right.
And Allen was claimed on waivers back in September from the Rams. And they're, the backup situation is either going to be Brett Rippon, who you may remember of Boise State fame, or rookie Drew Lock. We actually just mentioned Missouri a few seconds ago.
Right.
He was on injured reserve, though. So I got to be honest, Joe Flacco, whether it was by injury or by choice, being removed from the starting lineup is not a significant thing to me. I wanted to like Denver more in year one under Vic Fangio, but I had trouble because I hated the idea of Joe Flacco as this one-year stopgap quarterback. Anyone who'd watched Baltimore, obviously it's easy to say now, but no one in Baltimore is, wishing they still had Joe Flacco.
No.
I mean, they're more than happy with Lamar Jackson. I mean, they were more happy, and it's not just this year. It was last year. I mean, last year's playoff run, I think sealed that. I think everyone
it's
was
the whole
very
Eli
comfortable
Manning
in Baltimore.
thing as well, Yeah, same thing. How do you, these legends that still have a little bit of gas left in the tank and, I don't know. So what do you think about Big Ben? I mean, is it possible that he could ever come back,
I mean, that's interesting because he was obviously taken in the same draft as Eli Manning. So, I mean, obviously, but with Ben, I hadn't seen the same sort of deterioration of skills as I'd seen with Eli Manning. Quite frankly, Ben Roethlisberger at his peak was a better quarterback than Eli Manning. I know Eli Manning has won 2 Super Bowls, and anyone who likes Eli Manning is always going to bring that up. But aside from those 2 playoff runs, Eli Manning was kind of average, and the Giants were typically below par. I mean, they were a real boom or bust team throughout his starting tenure there. They had the 2 Super Bowls. They won a couple division titles, but there were a lot of years where they didn't make the playoffs. Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh has been the model of consistency. This is a team that, every year he's started, I don't think they've won any less than 8 games. So every year that he started, the majority of the games. This year is obviously that record, that streak is in jeopardy with him being injured in week 2. But and the other thing is, the Giants obviously spent the first-round draft choice on a rookie on a quarterback.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh does not have that immediate replacement for Big Ben. Whether that's something they do in next year's draft remains to be seen. But Mason Rudolph is not someone I would tab as a long-term starter in this league.
No.
Even on a team that has, still a fair amount of talent around him, like Pittsburgh does.
So we got a flag here, trying to see who this is on. Okay, so it's on the Dolphins. It's keeping the drive alive here. So yeah, we're streaming on all 5 platforms. I'm just trying to watch them all and everything, and we have a few people watching on each one, and so nothing major or anything. But yeah, no, we're just at the beginning of this show and getting it going, and maybe by Christmas it'll be even more tuned in here. But you can watch some of the replays on some of the other, because it keeps a track of the whole, records the whole thing, etc. on YouTube, etc. So you'll be able to watch it later. Did you just see that duck thrown up by Rudolph again there?
Yeah.
That
like I said, not a viable long-term option under center here for Pittsburgh. Obviously, it was a tough situation that he was thrown into.
Would you?
By the way, Pittsburgh.
Sorry, I just have another person here, Neil, again at Twitch here, and this is actually, he commented on this a little bit a while ago there, but he's asking for just the thoughts on the Raiders. I'm that they've been away for 5 weeks. They have not played a home game in 5 weeks. Their only home game in the last 5 weeks was when they were in London, and I thought that I have been surprised by how competitive they've been. I mean, maybe their win-loss record isn't that great, but I think they're better than I expected.
No, I mean, and they're better than the books had expected. So this is, I think, the most interesting tidbit with the Raiders this year. They are the only team besides Miami that has not been favored in any game this season. They've been a dog in all 7 games. So the fact they're 3-4 is pretty impressive. Now, next week, what's interesting, they're favored for the first time at home against Detroit.
That is very interesting, considering they haven't been there. And so Detroit is coming off a win, aren't they?
Yes, they beat the Giants close.
Right. Okay.
Although they were in the lead the whole game. They took an early lead in that game.
And so it was a backdoor cover from...
Yes, I believe the Giants were down 30. I can double check that real quick, but I'm almost positive that the Lions were up 31-19, and then the Giants scored the last touchdown. I can double check that.
I kind of like Detroit there a little bit, just because they're finally getting back from this. I've tried to get into the psyche of the whole thing, and so that kind of feels like that. They've been on this massive long road trip. Oh, it's another interception.
Oh my, are you kidding me?
Threw up another duck.
It looked...
His own player. Now they're saying just go in for the touchdown here.
Ugh.
Jeez.
Ugly. Like I said, I think you're a play ahead of me, so I'm going to be
Right.
Looking right here. Not that I don't believe you, but I'm going to look. How in the world did that even happen? And by the way, to answer your question, yes, the Giants did backdoor Detroit. They scored a touchdown with 1:19 left to steal the cover against Detroit. So with your read on that Detroit-Oakland game, I always do have an issue laying points with a team that hasn't been favored before. I think we've seen this a couple times already this year. Arizona was favored once, and it was against Carolina, believe it or not, in Kyle Allen's last start. And they lost that game outright, if you remember. That's a line. It's always kind of funny to go back and look at these lines, with 4 or 5 weeks of retrospect and be like, oh my God, was that a horrible line? I wish I could, build a time machine to go back and bet that one. Because Carolina killed them that game. And, Arizona is not going to be favored many times. The only reason they were favored, it was a classic odds makers overreaction to a backup quarterback. And then a similar situation where I think Jacksonville 3 weeks ago or so was favored for the first time, and they lost that game outright. I'm almost positive it's Jacksonville, because it was surprising. Their first 4 or 5 games, they had not been favored at all. Let me just double check Jacksonville's year-to-date results. I just want to make sure.
And so your point
Jacksonville played New Orleans, who obviously was undervalued the entire time Teddy Bridgewater was center, and Jacksonville was a 2.5-point favorite at New Orleans. It was at home, and they lost that game 13-6.
Right. And so your point being that you're wary when a team has been a dog the whole time, and then it's the first time they're a favorite?
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. And so when you throw in this factor where they have been on the road for 5 weeks, they return home, they're finally in their own beds, you know what I mean? And that whole part of it where they just sort of can finally relax a tiny bit, and it's different. They're not on the road the whole time, and then they're favored. And so, and Detroit is improved, to your earlier point. They're it's kind of unfortunate for them that they're playing in the NFC North, which is such a competitive division, because 3-1 right now would have you in a lot better spot in most divisions than it does in the NFC North, where you've got two good teams, Green Bay and Minnesota, that are probably going to make the play. So Detroit. That division schedule is going to be, I think, what really ultimately dooms the Lions and keeps them from making the playoffs. But if there is a path for them, it's going to be these non-division games. They would have to, win one like this. So we have another question here from Neil the Legend. And so he's saying, look at the schedule and tell me how many wins you reckon that they're going to have at the end of the season, I guess. So do you want me to pull that up quickly?
Sure. What team was that?
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Yeah, and so he wants sort of a tentative prediction.
7 or 8, probably. They were a team that I thought would improve their win total, just for the simple fact that if you kind of just look at the biorhythms of their season-to-season records, they had decreased 2 years in a row. That people forget. It was only a couple of years ago they won 12 games with Jack Del Rio as the head coach.
Right.
And then they kind of stunk the next year, and then then they got the opportunity to bring John Gruden in, and that there was massive turnover with the roster, and they won even fewer games in his first year. So you decrease the win total 2 years in a row.
They have an easy schedule here. Why don't I have their remaining games here, and I'll let you hear it.
Okay.
So they have Detroit this weekend at home. Then they have the Chargers at home. They have Cincinnati at home. Then they hit the road for 2. They're at the Jets and then KC. Then they have Tennessee and Jacksonville at home. Then they finish up with the Chargers and Denver on the road. So it's not Murderer's Row by any means. No Saints, no Patriots, or you know what I mean? KC.
Yeah, no. So, and the key is too. Yeah, and the key is too with the Raiders and this was something I'd read before the season, and it's something the listeners should keep in mind when handicapping any division. The second place team in any division will win 8 or more games like 85% of the time.
Okay.
And if you look at the AFC West, I think even with the Mahomes injury, most people are going to say Kansas City's going to win the AFC West, right? Mm-hmm. If you take a lay of the land. But you look at the rest of the division. Okay, the Chargers, I know they won. It was kind of a miracle win beating the Bears, though, on Sunday. And they've got a lot of injuries to deal with. Denver can't get out of its own way. I mean, having suffered so many crushing losses, they're probably not going to finish, with a 500 record. It kind of opens the door for Oakland to be that second-place team in the division, right?
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
So, we talked about the improvement that we thought we'd see anyway. There is a path to 8 wins, and like I said, 8 wins could get you that second wild card in the AFC, depending on how the South goes. That's kind of the one division where there isn't an atrocious team among the lot. But
can you imagine if they go on any sort of run here and they make it in? This is their last year in LA, and then they're going to Vegas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And stranger things have happened. And John Gruden, I have no idea why. I thought he had a very cushy gig.
Mm-hmm.
I would take, if me personally, I would take the Monday Night Football analyst gig over being a head coach of 99 times out of 100, probably.
No doubt.
But he didn't. He wanted to go back to coaching. He does do a good job with the game, at least in the first quarter, and the team, the old scripted 15 plays or whatever. The Raiders they always come out looking pretty good, and that was a tough loss they had yesterday against Houston. I actually did a teaser on the game because I didn't want to lay the points with Houston, but I thought they'd still win, and that's exactly what happened, where they won the game by 4, did not cover. So that was a success for me. But the Raiders played that game well. They haven't had many bad games this year, the Raiders.
No, yeah.
Except
so
Green Bay.
I think they're definitely one to keep your eye on. It's unbelievable to say that, but yeah.
I mean, look at the AFC. I mean, again, to come back to it, it is a very weak country.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got, you can make an argument that 3 of the 4, I think it's a pretty sound argument, 3 of the 4 worst teams in football are in the AFC, Miami, Jets, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And
so Orlando made a bit of a comeback there, by the way, just so you know.
Oh, that's nice to know. Okay,
yeah.
That's fun to track. Thank you. Okay. But, I really do think, Buffalo, who I don't know about you, I'm not in love with Buffalo by any stretch of the imagination. I was among those who widely panned the Josh Allen draft pick.
Right.
But I'm pretty much of the opinion that they're going to get a wild card this year. And that's the Bills. So you kind of you start crunching the numbers, and again, paths are there for teams like the Raiders and Steelers that you might not think there are paths for.
Yep, very interesting stuff for sure. And so you've given us the 2 blowout plays. We're coming down here to the end of the first quarter, and you've been great. And I'm going to have to carry the second quarter by myself because Clutch will be coming on in the second half this time, and Kai's can't come on this time, unfortunately, but maybe we can get him to give us his second half pick. And Brian has given his free pick in our free pick section in our Discord, and that's on the Jazz and the Suns under.
Yes, so those are 2 teams that made a lot of 3-pointers in their last respective games. I think the Jazz matched a franchise record for makes or something like that. I mean, they annihilated a very bad Sacramento team. I know there were some who were trying to make a case for Sacramento maybe to make a playoff run. They after all have the postseason drought, but with Bagley getting hurt, They're not playing any defense. The Jazz just blitzed them from start to finish the other night. And then Phoenix, who is running a new offense under Monty Williams, where he's just kind of encouraging guys to gun it from long range. They were like 17 of 43 or something from three-point range, which is
do you like
pretty
Ja
good.
Morant? Ja Morant, he's in...
Yeah.
Yeah. And Oklahoma City has a... they have a big lead here. There's some interesting sort of few... Portland has a 14-4 lead over San Antonio right now. Oklahoma City has a 43-33 lead over Houston. And Golden State is laying a beating on New Orleans. But Orlando came back at the half. New York is still in shooting distance, and so is Indiana. And Miami is in the red zone.
Yep, just saw that. Wow. It's certainly not what the doctor ordered for Pittsburgh. Wow. Take back what I said. No playoffs. They're done. Burn it all to the ground. Trade Ben. Get what you can for them now. It's over. Let's start thinking about next year, I guess. But yeah, just going back to just final comment, that Utah-Phoenix deal. It's two teams that shot really well from three-point range last game. Utah is a good defensive team. Phoenix, don't forget, dealing with the suspension of Ayton. So I just think that both teams are going to score a lot less in this game, and that's why I liked the under. It's a 10:05 Eastern start for those who are interested.
Right. And so Miami goes in. It's 14-0, and I guess that guy's $100,000 bet. He's not liking that too much.
It's not looking good. I would start doing some in-game wager.
Yeah, Jimmy Vaccaro. That's who it is. And he posts huge tickets all the time. The Dolphins are showing competence tonight. Yeah, they weren't going to go 0-16. You know, this wasn't going to be an 0-16 team, even no matter how horrible they are. It didn't feel like it anyways. It came close.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the tackling, or alleged tackling, I should say, by Pittsburgh on that second touchdown was just embarrassing. I mean, my God, did they want Allen Hurns to score? I mean, they could have just saved us all the trouble and, you know.
Right. Well, I think I could
sidelines before that play. That was just horrible. I mean, there's three guys there who just. I mean, again, he was knocking at the doorstep, and you could argue, well, Miami scores the next play. Anyway, I think it was one of those deals, and I hate this, where they just try to rip the ball out.
Mm-hmm.
And
and then don't even bother tackling. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and picking up the ball.
It's ugly. It is very ugly. I don't know. Maybe put Devlin Hodges in if you're Pittsburgh.
At least it's making this. It's interesting. At least these have been train wreck games recently, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do the Thursday night game where it is kind of going to be interesting. At least it's a close divisional. The Finns are not only on the move, Neil. They just scored a touchdown. Sorry, I need to get this refreshed here. I got to. It's now 14-0. If you can believe that. 14-0. The Finns are not only. Yeah, no, the Finns look great compared to Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, like I said, there was an
Not
argument,
over yet, though.
Yeah, I understood the argument. If you did like Miami, that I mentioned it, and
you did, yeah.
Attempted to counteract it, right? Provide a counter argument that the offense has looked better with Fitzpatrick. At the same time, it certainly helps when you're kind of gifted an immediate red zone opportunity, right? And then, that second drive now did look good. So, Josh Rosen, by the way, I would not be expecting to be on the field anytime soon, barring an injury to Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, I guess Fitzmagic is back and rolling again here. Just going to quickly
although Miami should.
Oh, sorry, all of Miami should what?
Oh, they still need, obviously. Fitzpatrick has proven that he is not a long-term solution at quarterback for anyone, and that's why he's bounced around. He's a great backup if you need it, just to inject some life into the offense. I mean, remember last year with Tampa Bay, this was a guy who had, I think statistically speaking, one of the greatest 3-game starts to a season in league history.
Yes.
And then he wasn't even the starter by the end of the year, and that team won 5 games. So, I mean, with Miami, you needed something. Brian Flores in his first year did not want to go winless That's why he went for 2 on the final play against Washington, which I admired, by the way. But, Miami, if they do get the first pick, which I think most people think they will end up, they obviously need to take a quarterback.
Right. No doubt. And they're going to have several first-round picks with this horrible record. Just looking at some of the NBA games again here quickly, and we have Brian for another couple minutes here. Portland has a 21-4 lead over San Antonio in the first, but yeah, halfway through the first. Golden State has a
Greg Popovich can't win them all.
No, and that's Portland coming off the second game of a back-to-back, right? Because last night they upset on the road too as a slight underdog.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, but still, 21-4. The NBA this time, like I said, I've kind of been trying to tread lightly. With the Orlando play, I was a perfect 4-0 with sides so far. But I like to tread lightly, feel it out, because I just felt, and I don't know about you, I can't remember a season in a sport where I went in kind of with less of a read on the overall league than I do this year with the NBA, just due to all the player moves. I'm really interested. Yeah, I'm really interested, and this is weird, something probably, but as the season progresses, how the TV ratings are, because you always hear from these fans, I'm sick of these same teams. I'm sick of these, same teams winning it every year. Yeah, the ratings suggest that's actually a lie. That people don't like parity as much in some of these sports. I know that people are going to say NFL, they love parity, but generally there's certain teams that always draw ratings at the.
Yeah, absolutely. So Patriots and who's going to be?
Obviously the Patriots, but back when Peyton Manning played, everyone, it was always Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. No one got sick of that.
No.
Ever. Maybe you did, but the ratings suggest that the majority of people watching football around the world did not. We're not sick of it. People still glamorize, the Chicago Bulls of the 1990s.
Yeah.
Nobody was like, "Oh, I'm so sick of this team. I hate this." There's 30 for 30s done about the Celtics and Lakers who were in the finals every year. I just think that's kind of this new thing we have, where certain blog writers, and it kind of picks up some steam with a very small segment of people. Oh, I'm so sick of this team. And yeah, I guess, you root against them, but there is there's in terms of
Players grow on me after a while. When they come in young, and I sort of, don't particularly like them, but after a while, they grow on me, and franchises and different things. But what Brady's doing is amazing. But I guess he has just the best of the best, all of the best offensive line. The defense is just, just the best players at every position almost.
Yeah, with New England, I read an article this morning. I don't know if you saw it. I think it was on the front page of ESPN.com. Bill Barnwell, who I really enjoy, was talking about the Patriots may have the best defense ever, at least according to the statistic.
Yeah, the best ever. Yeah.
They have not faced a murderer's row of offense.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. Actually, the interesting stat there, about New England, just that they faced the Jets there, and the week before the Jets faced the Pats, Sam Darnold won AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Then he faces the Patriots and throws 6 interceptions or whatever and just does nothing. And then last week he has another really good game. You know what I mean? And so they keep saying, well, they haven't faced a really good offense. Well, and then you put that as sort of into perspective and take that into account, and that's interesting because it does.
Well, sure. They even if they're facing an offensive average or maybe even below average, they make them look worse than they already are. There's no disputing that. I mean, the numbers are incredible. They held the Steelers to 3 points in a game where the Steelers had Ben Roethlisberger. That's the only full game Ben Roethlisberger will play all year.
Right.
So, and we know what the Steelers are capable of doing, through the years when Ben is the starter. So, yeah, I mean, they're making teams look real silly. For years, they always kind of have this reputation under Belichick of bend but don't break. Like, I don't know.
No, absolutely. The defense. No, this is different for sure. It's in the sense that they're not giving up many yards this year. I mean, I don't know if it's something you've kept an eye on or noticed, but for me, defenses, like the great defenses, should be like near the top in both yards per game. And I know yards per game is kind of like a counting stat and can be misleading, and there's arguments, for and against its value. But just for argument's sake, work with me here. A great defense theoretically would rank near the top in both yards per game and points per game allowed, right? Right.
Well, the Patriots through the years, if you look, they always kind of are middle of the pack in yards per game allowed, yet near the top in points per game allowed. Now, some of that is they're leading a lot and they give up yards in garbage time, which is, where sometimes yards per game can be problematic. It isn't the end all be all. But this year, I mean, I think they're first in both categories, if memory serves me correct. So, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame.
So Neil the Legend in Twitch, and just before you go here, Brian, because the first quarter is over, and he did such a great job. Thank you so much. And so his prediction here is Raiders and Packers. So there you go. That's from
Raiders
Neil.
and Pack.
Yeah.
For what?
Well, maybe the Super Bowl.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know. If it was, okay, I mean, it would be a rematch of Super Bowl II there. Yeah, I cannot imagine. I mean, I was thinking about it today.
You know what? 30 minutes ago, we couldn't imagine the Dolphins ever winning this game either. So
yeah, sure. Yeah, stranger things have happened. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today, and we started this, about a half hour or so ago. We were talking about the 49ers. The NFL loves its storylines, and can you imagine if the Super Bowl is Tom Brady against Jimmy Garoppolo? How like ESPN and whomever will just be like losing their minds, they've got those 2 weeks of airtime.
It'd be amazing. That would be a good matchup. You're right. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and that would that would be insane for them. Oh my God, the teacher versus the pupil. Oh, what did he tell you all these years? Oh, blah blah blah.
The two best defenses. So, yeah, I mean No, that's
and that too. And I mean, really, while we're talking about New England, definitely being the top team in the league, and that's not a surprise. We're used to it, even though statistically they've been a little more dominant than even usual, which is pretty amazing. But San Francisco, there's nothing phony about them. They are definitely the number 2 team in the league.
Right. Well, Neil's saying that he thinks the Raiders can run with the Pats' offense. Yeah, I think that's true.
Is Neil a Raiders fan?
He must be a big Raiders fan for sure.
Yeah, I know how Raiders fans are. Raiders fans have. I grew up a Raiders fan, believe it or not. Loved one of the first football games I ever saw was the famous Bo Jackson Monday night game against Seattle, where he ran wild. And
you were there.
I remember telling my dad, I was like, dude, the Browns should get Bo Jackson. He's like, well, it doesn't really work like that. I was like, well, I like the Raiders then because they have Bo Jackson. So
right.
Yeah. So yeah, Raiders. Yeah, I wonder if he's a Raiders fan because Raiders fans always have that fun belief in their team that doesn't extend to the rest of the country often.
Yeah, well, I saw an interesting stat about the Raiders is that their fan base drinks more beer than any of the other NFL teams.
Yeah. That's probably not a surprise, to learn for sure. To go to the sit for 3 hours in that stadium. I mean, maybe you have to. So, but yeah. So
okay. Well, thank you for sitting in. Yeah,
sure,
absolutely. And so we'll just let you go. I'm going to take it away in the second quarter here and just sort of chill and relax until my second half guest can come on. And I just wanted to say thanks again to Brian Power. And you guys can go check him out at Covers Experts. I have his homepage up there. And this was a great thing, and he did totally fantastic, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem. Hopefully I did okay, and hopefully the black and gold can score 4 touchdowns in a row.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, take care.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now. All right, you guys. So here we are, and I am back, taking over the show. I thought that I would, for this quarter, I thought that I would have on, a different guest, but we had to switch things up a little bit here because Kai's can't do the second half, and then all of a sudden Clutch Sports wasn't able to do the second quarter, but he can come on in the second half, and so I just need to entertain you guys for a tiny little bit here, and then we'll get going on the second half. So what'd you guys think of Brian Power? What'd you guys think of Mr. Brian Power? Oh, look at that. What happened there? Huh. So having to check all the different platforms all the time is interesting. The Raiders in the last year in Oakland play their rivals in the 49ers. That's true. But then they're going to Vegas. So Neil, what do you think about that? What's your opinion about them going to Vegas? Wow. Penalties are coming out. So what do you think about them going to Vegas? To Vegas, yeah. There you go, Purpose. Well, I saw a guy today on Twitter. His name is Jimmy Vaccaro, and he's a big bettor, and he put $100,000 down on Pittsburgh money line to win $11,000. 14-0 Dolphins. So there you go. You know who's happy here tonight? Is Mr. Chronic Triggers. So yeah, you guys want to see me eat some food on camera? Because I'm gonna eat anytime. So yeah, I'm looking forward to speaking with Clutch Sports in the second half. He was a lot of fun when he came on last week. He had some cool stories, some of the football games that he'd been to, and a lot of the different bets that he's made over the years and what he looks for. And he's also into fantasy and DFS, and I guess he wasn't so much into DFS, but he's definitely into fantasy. Yeah, so they're going to, Neil is talking about he's talking about the Raiders need to come out firing on all cylinders and catch fire. Neil just loves the Raiders. Okay, you guys, I need to go help my wife open up a jar of pasta sauce so that I can have my spaghetti in a little bit. So I'm going to be back in 2 seconds, and that's it. I'll just be back in 2 seconds. So I'll be right back. What's going on here? All right, I'll be right back. 2 more minutes. Well, Miami bettors are loving it. They're my team, and I'm 15, so I don't drink beer. All right, Neil. Greg Rindosh is in YouTube. What's up, Greg? Sorry, I'm trying to monitor every single platform, etc., and also trying to eat dinner and trying to juggle guests and different things. But yeah, it's going pretty good. Brian Power was on in the first half, and he doesn't normally do a lot of public appearances. And so I really appreciate his insight, and I had a lot of fun with him talking in the first quarter. That was totally awesome. Do you enjoy your pasta like how you called it? Pasta. Some pasta, yes. I can't wait to eat it. It's almost going to be ready. And then, yeah, in the second half, we're going to talk to Clutch Sports. And so moving forward on Thursday, we're not going to do the show. And I've sort of committed to doing these Monday, Thursday night games. But maybe I can start getting into doing some streaming on Saturdays and Sundays during the day. I get up super early, and so by the end of the fourth quarter, I'm like totally exhausted for the most part. Tell your wife you like it al dente. Of course, it's the only way. And you got to keep the starch in there. You never wash the noodles. You got to keep that starch. That's what sucks up the sauce and the flavor into the noodles. I know, man. So yeah, look at this, Miami. So yeah, this is hilarious. That's this show and the evolution of it and where it's going. The Raiders don't need to make trades. No, I think the Raiders are pretty cool, and I think going to so I'm kind of curious. I don't know if we can get Dan Kaiser's second half bet or not. And I'll ask him. That's what I'm doing right this minute. But he's having issues with his video and stuff, and so yeah, once again, Brian Power from Covers Experts. He's also featured on a few of the other major pick selling sites. He was on in the first quarter, and I'm looking forward to working with lots of different people and different things and moving forward. And I don't, as I say, I gotta do everything on this show, you guys. I do everything. And so, actually, I went to school for broadcasting, and I used to own a multimedia company, and I've shot award-winning documentaries, and I've worked on different things, and we have somebody here watching us on Mixer as well now. And so, yeah, I'm really digging all of this and the way the show is going, and I really appreciate any and all participation from you guys in helping getting it going. T-Jack, what's the score? Devo, though, is my house band, T-Jack. And so the score is 14-0, Miami. And I was just talking about to Brian Power. He was in the first quarter there. But just, I seen today on, the reason, I'm going back and forth here, but the reason I play Devo is because I don't get copyright strikes for the music when I do it. Everything else I do. This Devo concert, they don't give me anything. And so this is my, or I could put on the old NFL stuff. There you go. Steelers lose, you mean, if the Steelers lose. And so that's the reason I have Devo on. And so I was going to have 3 guests on tonight as well, but one, Kai's, isn't going to be able to do the second half. Steelers win, Browns are... okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, got it. Here, I'll put on some old NFL tunes. Here we go. So, actually, T-Jack, Brian, you would have been really interesting for you. In fact, you might want to hook up with Brian when you go to Cleveland, because that's where he's from. And his take on the Browns, because he lives there, and he's like a huge Browns fan and has been his whole life from there. And so he hears it all the time in the media. And he actually thinks that if you look at their second half schedule, that Cleveland actually has a chance. Can he get you the VIP experience? Yeah, I think he can give you the VIP Cleveland experience. I don't think that's going to be an issue. He would have done all the tailgate stuff a million times over. Well, Tim, he's saying you got to look. So I'm getting confirmation here from Dan Kaiser Sports. He is going to have his second half pick, even though he can't come on. He's going to have his second half pick come up. So that'll be awesome.
With Grammarly, you can find really good, perfect words that make your writing sharp or explicit.
You guys got to join the Discord if you haven't done that. Discord is awesome because that's where you can really do or say whatever you want in there, because it's, yeah. So join our Discord. But Mason Rudolph here just looks so horrible. He looks pathetic. He must be still suffering from that concussion. Okay. I was saying, before the 3-game stretch, Seahawks, Niners, Pats need one win in those 3 because every game now is winnable. Okay, well, yeah. But he was saying that he's also been saying that from the start as well, and so anyways, you guys are on the same wavelength for sure. He would know everything about everything, just like you with the team, and so. But yeah, he thought they definitely had a chance in this weak division. Obviously, Baltimore was going to win. You were the first one ever in the whole thing. So, also, I just wanted to say, Tim, that I saw this guy on Twitter. He's a big bettor. His name is Jimmy Vaccaro. He put $100,000 down on Pittsburgh to win this game on the money line. $100,000 to win $11,000. $100,000 to win $11,000. Baltimore hasn't played all the hard teams yet, says T-Jack. Who'd ever bet $100,000 on the money line to win $11,000? So $100,000 to win $11,000. No, this is not that guy. No. I told him about that as well, and he was speechless and horrified. Not the guy from Cleveland. The guy from Cleveland is Brian Power. He's a super well-known handicapper. So you guys, I am being told that my dinner, that's a horrible bet, says Greg Grindosh on YouTube. It is He's still live, though, yeah. I mean, anything can happen here. But other people were saying it's sort of a gimmick, that he must sort of work with this book, and win or lose, it doesn't matter. And obviously the guy has millions. But yeah, I'm being told that my dinner is ready, my pasta. This game is getting ridiculous now. It is. 14-3. And so, you guys, I've been told. Wow. I'm just getting caught up on the basketball scores here. Indiana came all the way back and was not able to get it done. 94-96. But New York has come all the way back to take a 2-point lead. Portland, that's interesting. Tell me if you can get me a stadium VIP experience. Otherwise, I probably won't be good company. Say hi to Chenny and the boys. I will. And so, you guys, I gotta go get my dinner, and then I'll be right back, okay? And then I'll eat. You guys can... Alright, see you later, T-Jack. You guys can watch me eat for the end of the second quarter, unless it's over already. And then we'll get ready for the second half. And it'll be great.
Christmas lights, exercise equipment unused, and a box of old stuff.
Okay, so I'll be right back, you guys, and then you guys can watch me eat dinner. It'll be awesome. Okay, hold on. So this is all looking good and looking fun. Here we go. Here we go. All right, 14-3. Jeez. One sec. Gotta get a napkin.
Danielle here wants to know.
Are electric vehicles actually clean?
An EV in BC runs on nothing but clean electricity.
So what is this second half play? It's going to be coming up soon. But there are some big upsets going on right now in the NBA. These guys are rocking out. I should have got more garlic toast. What was I thinking? So good. Totally making a mess here. Gonna try to get through this quickly so that we can look at that. Big interception. Steelers alive. Imagine if they get a touchdown here. Then Jimmy Vaccaro is really loving life. I'm inhaling this right now. My pasta. Well, there you go, Fitzpatrick, trying to do too much. That looked a little better though. So you guys, we're streaming to 5 different platforms at once right now. And I think that's pretty sweet. Great Rindosh has been watching us on YouTube. Oh, Mason Rudolph is horrible. Wow. Looks like he's throwing it to the Miami players. He's just horrible. That was good. Quickly getting through this. Wow. New York did beat Chicago. So the Knicks finally have a win. Look at that. Offensive? Man. Offensive pass interference. Mike Tomlin is not happy about that. Pretty good pasta. I give it 3 10 stars. 5 thumbs up. Yeah, look at him holding.
With Grammarly's help, is trying to impress his boss. After that time, he told her,
I'm a suppository of information.
We had a huge Raiders fan on earlier, and we were talking a lot about the Raiders. And Browns fan. So second half, we're welcoming in Clutch Sports. I've almost inhaled all of this spaghetti here. Well, what can you do? Sholo. What does that mean? Sholo. Sholo. 10 stars I give the pasta. This is what I give the pasta rating. 10 star. Good work. Lots of meat with pasta. Just the way I like it. Wow. Unbelievable. My wife thinks I should spike my hair. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna get this cleaned up. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. We'll be into the second half, and I'll get Clutch Sports on, and we'll finish off the rest of this game. It looks like it's going to be interesting. We're going to get Kai's second half pick in our Discord, so when I get back, that should probably be in there. Kai's was going to come on in the second half, but he's having internet issues in the area that he lives in, but he'll be able to get the pick in via his phone. So let me clean this up. I'll be back in 2 minutes, and we'll keep going. Keep evolving the show. More underground than the underground. We are the Insider's Room, and nothing's off topic in here, and we have lots of great guests and fun times and cool things going on. And so yeah, it'll be fun to talk to Chad of Clutch Sports here shortly. And I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Christmas lights, exercise equipment unused, and a box of old stuff labeled old stuff. Put your garage to actual use with EV home charger rebates of up to $700.
Wow, they got the touchdown, huh? Unbelievable. Wow. So there we go. We're going into the final, going into the second half, and we want to get Dan the Professor Kaiser's second half pick. And get ready for clutch. Where's he? Okay, let me see what's going on here. If I can get his attention somehow. And if Chad doesn't come in, then I guess I'm doing a solo mission in the second half. So yeah, I guess I do kind of like the Browns in that Denver game for sure. That's one it looks like they can win, finally. that loss in San Francisco doesn't look so horrifying now, considering how dominant that Cleveland looks. Or sorry, that San Francisco looks. So yeah, as soon as Clutch Sports gets back to me here, we'll try to bring him on. Steve Young is just so happy these days. Whenever you see him interviewed, he's just beside himself. Just can't wait for somebody to ask him about the 49ers. So yeah, the second half will be great. I have Chad lined up here, ready to rock and roll whenever Chad's ready to go. We'll get ready to go here in the second half. And so if you want to recap a little bit of basketball or something, Atlanta has a 91-87 lead on Philly. Atlanta was getting a... yeah, look at Embiid, Joel Embiid, has 28 points, and Trae Young has 24. Orlando has come all the way back against Toronto and had a lead at one point. But now it's 91-93. Golden State is throttling New Orleans. Cleveland is in striking distance of covering. Oklahoma City, same thing. And Arizona beats Buffalo 3-2. I actually had the under in that one, and so that's a winner. Yeah. So definitely Jimmy Vaccaro, this guy, he's a big bettor, and he put $100,000 down on the Steelers to win this game outright, to win $11,000. And so he was pretty much roasted pretty hard on Twitter today. But looks like momentum has sort of swung, but it's just can't trust that quarterback of Pittsburgh's at all. I mean, he's just been brutal. So whenever Chad comes online, oh, I think Kai's is putting in a play, possibly in our free picks section, as we speak. So yeah, on Thursday, no show. So we do have a winner of the pool of the first month. And so that has been sponsored, you guys. If you're in at Twitch, because Twitch is the only place that you can play the monthly contest. And so our first month was not a big month as far as, but next month will be a lot better for November. And so we're not going to do it on Thursday, but Chronic Triggers has won. And I'll get him set up with an account. Something happened where I got a little alarm there for some reason. Okay, so there it is. That has been entered in there. Dan's official. There it is. Miami plus 7.5. So here I'm posting Dan's second half pick everywhere here. There it is. Oh, I didn't put it here. Here it is on Mixer as well. Well, I'm not sure about Chad. So it could just be me soloing it here in the second half. So there's Dan's pick. It's Miami plus 7.5. Yeah, no Chad coming on yet. But you never know. Well, I could get caught up on some work while we wait. That'll be fun for you guys to watch. You just watch me eat some food, you might as well watch me do some work. So definitely just getting the confirmation here that Chad is not going to be able to make it tonight. So I will be carrying the show here. Brian was a great first half guest, but what can you do? I've been really happy with everyone, and I'm going to switch back to Devo and start at the beginning. So yeah, Chronic Triggers, you have won the contest this month. And so to claim your prize, you have to follow
Hello. This is
the
Devo. We would like to say things go
rules there.
both ways. You
in our Discord.
Or dreams come true. Mucho work, minus play. Tension mounts in a twisted
Pretty easy. Just follow that link and sign up.
ball. Tension mounts in a foreign place. The screw turns, someone calls.
Let's check some of these basketball scores again. Orlando failing. Toronto winning and covering again. Golden State laying a beat down. Cleveland coming back, making it interesting. San Antonio coming all the way back after getting crushed. Huh. Huh. So yeah, Chronic Triggers has won this. I'm gonna change my status on here. Let me just check the first November game there. So yeah, we're not doing anything next Thursday. And so we'll be back on Monday the 4th. Cowboys and Giants. That'll be a good one. Or not really, actually. Actually, yeah. The Thursday one that we're missing is going to be the good one. Unfortunately. So, what was I gonna do here? Right. Easy to get I'm trying to monitor so many things, but yeah, here we go in the second half already. Let's go.
Redirect our view, endless variation, make it
gotta say that I'm pumped to take a break until November and get going again, and maybe do some day streams. Dan had said that he could do some day streams. I think that would work a lot better for me. Doing it on Saturday and Sunday. Oh. Game is awful. Well, I don't know. The Dolphins have a chance to win this game outright. I'd like to see. Really, what I'm really hoping for is the under. Is what I'm hoping for. But it's better. It's been better than some of the other recent games. At least the underdog is. I guess if you are on the Dolphins win, I give up on making sports picks. Well, so you just have to pick the team straight up, or what? Just the team to win? But yeah, Chronic Triggers is the first guy to win. And then I have to figure out how to erase all of the chips. Look at that. So they hold them on 4th and 7. Wow. Boom. It's right there, right when the ball came. Great shot. So this is a long field goal here. Missed that one. Nice. We need that under. Nice. I think I can hear my kids fighting and wrestling and smashing each other. So yeah, no second half gas. Everyone is handicaps having technical issues due to weather. Both guests, extreme weather, extreme winter weather, which I'm definitely not getting where I live at all. It's it's not like summer weather or anything, but it's certainly not like it's nice, basically. But yeah, having Dan on in the second half definitely makes the show. So yeah, this is where at I gotta message my mod, one of my mods. This guy helped me set up my contest, and I have him as one of my mods on here, but it's not like I need mods or anything for my channel. Look at this heave by Fitzpatrick. Total interception. Nice. Just the worst football possible, played by both quarterbacks. Two really horrible quarterbacks. I don't understand the logic behind that. You have a 14-10 lead, so you have the lead. Why? Why do that? I guess that would have been the knockout blow, but still, you're throwing it into like double, triple coverage and completely out of control. And yeah. Yeah, I wish I had Brian on longer. He was really good and had some interesting insight totally into the way that he handicaps, mostly based upon his own power ratings. And when he thinks a line is off from his own, that's when he what he does for the most part. So, what do you guys think of this game? Purpose thinks it's the worst game of all time. Just depends on what you got. If you have the under, it's looking pretty sweet. Or, I don't know about sweet, but this is pretty crazy. I'd say it's entertaining. Anyways, I'm looking forward to taking next Thursday off and doing Halloween. Although that's going to be a good game between the Cardinals and 49ers. There we go. Big gainer. At least get them out of that, like in the out of their own 10-yard line. Now we got a little bit of breathing room here, and just slow it down again. But still, that was critical to get it out of there. But you want to keep that clock going. What I really want is the under. Yeah, look at this though. Miami's just horrible against the run, but it looks like it's coming back. Holding. So first and 20. That's a big running play for 5 yards. Let's go. Nope. Jeez, almost another pick. Wow. First down. Oh, man, he got crushed. What's going on in some of these other games here? Golden State. Denver crushing Sacramento so far. I'm gonna say, as this game is going on, obviously Mason Rudolph has looked a lot better. Wow, yeah, Rudolph definitely looks a lot better in the second half as this game has progressed. He's calmed down. And now Jimmy Vaccaro, who has the $100,000 bet, to win $11,000 on Pittsburgh money line. Isn't looking completely horrible anyway. Wow, look at all the time he's got there. Still didn't get anything. There it is.
What does this strange-looking tomato have to do with arthritis? Everything, according to
Who's putting all those ones? I know it's kind of a boring second half. It'd be better with Dan here, but it all got canceled on me in the second half, so there's not much to do or say here other than Pittsburgh did just get the touchdown. So it's 31 points. And Mason Rudolph looks a lot better. And now he's saying, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Mason Rudolph. Don't blow it now. Now that money line bet, 100,000 to win 11,000 isn't looking too horrible. What a catch. Yeah. So there you go, Chronic. You're winner of the very first. And you just gotta follow through the thing there on Discord. So yeah, all my second half guests, because of weather, have not been able to come on today. Horrible weather across the whole nation, the whole continent, everywhere but here. It's really nice. I think Albert gave me the trophies there. Oh. Someone's crying upstairs. Sounds like Peter. So yeah, unfortunately, without guests, just hang out with and talk about stuff, unless the chat is actually talking to me. So, just need the chat to talk to me, and I'm ready to talk. So what's gonna happen here? It looked like it could start blowing up here, the offense. But yeah, I know I'm looking forward to the break and taking off Halloween, even though that will be a great game. Or it has the potential to be. That's right, November 4th. November 4th. And so I gotta figure out how to wipe clean. And it's Cowboys at Giants. And so I gotta learn how to wipe the slate clean. I'm sure it's not that hard, but as usual, I gotta figured it out mostly by myself. So yeah, I was hoping to have guests on here. Did any of you guys catch Brian in the first half? Or the first quarter? I thought he was pretty good. Alright. It's crazy streaming from your house when the kids are all still awake and everything's... Alright. The clock is ticking. 3rd and 5. What's going to happen? It's going to be a little dump pass. They don't trust them. Wow. Depends where they mark it. Doesn't look like they're going to get it. 4th and a foot. You had a real big second bounce. Fourth and 1. Oh, I think he got it. So there we go. The end of the 3rd quarter. What time is it? 7:30. Yeah, it's moving pretty fast again. So yeah, Chronic Triggers, you're the winner. And as I was saying, hopefully you can do some day streams. I think that would suit my schedule a lot better. Wow, San Antonio is just laying a beating down on Portland now. Wow, Vancouver has a massive 4-1 lead over Florida. that? I unlocked something? Football player. What? Okay, we'll go a bit longer here in the fourth quarter and then shut it down at some point, I think, and get ready to come back hard in November. And the big October winner is Chronic Triggers for our Twitch contest, so that's awesome for him. He's been here since the start, and he played that really smart. Right to the end, till tonight, he even bet 10 on Miami. But yeah, come back and try to have more guests and maybe do just something different. I don't know. We'll figure it out. The momentum we got, it's real. But Brian was just great in the first half. Really interesting. Totally great insight, and he gave out some free picks, and I think the one pick that he did give out, Utah and Phoenix under, which is looking really good. Well, in the first quarter, but still, it's looking quite good. Come on, fourth quarter, get underway. I want to watch a little bit more, and then we'll shut the stream down. And I'm not going to go to the end of the whole thing here. It would be better to have Dan on here in the second half, and I enjoy letting him talk. But yeah, I'm gonna go have some dessert. But yeah, October was a success. We're taking Thursday off. Chronic Triggers is the first winner. Oh. Come a long way in a short time. And all you guys. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I gotta figure out how to wipe the chips clean. No, I get it. Yep. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can do this. Okay. Yeah, you guys, I'm gonna shut down the stream early tonight. I was gonna raid someone on Twitch, but then bag it. I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, try to come back in November and keep the show going and have a bunch of guests and keep the contest going. But without Dan here in the second half, there's no point in really keeping the stream going at this point. I don't reckon. So I'm gonna call it short, and I'll be back next Monday night. That's Monday, November 4th. It's gonna be Dallas Cowboys at New York Giants. Another really great game. So that's when we'll be back. So that's it. That is it. I'm not rating anyone. That's it.